All right, everybody, welcome back. I hope your first day back of trading was a good one. Uh, so we're gonna have to talk about this. What happened today? I expected a lot more out of the market than what I got. Bitcoin pushed higher, and the S&P, did whatever it was doing, but I wasn't really impressed with any of it. And so it kind of left me, still kind of wondering what's gonna happen, especially with this doji that the S&P put in here at the 20-day SMA. Then you got Bitcoin selling off in the evening, in the after hours. Um, and if you look at it on the 2-minute chart, see it's kind of selling off after reaching that 103,670. It's pulling back. And then you look at the Dow, and the same thing with the Dow. It's still selling off, but you can see that better on the 3-month and the day chart. After this, I want to say a tombstone, but we'll still call it, it's just a regular doji. It's not so much of a tombstone, but it's still a doji looking sucker, an indecision day. And it put in a little fat doji right there, which we'll see what happens tomorrow with that if it continues going lower. So that's kind of what we were looking at today. Gold kind of hanging there a little bit, but it put in a little green doji, so it might want to go higher on gold. We'll see what happens with that tomorrow. So most of our majors didn't really do a whole lot. It's kind of left us in limbo another day because we don't really know which direction they really want to head in it. I think we got this 4-bar push-up, so we may get, just a little bit of a pullback in Bitcoin before going higher again, but we'll see what happens with that. So, let's just talk about what happened with our holiday traders and see if there's anything that's worthwhile there, which I don't really think there was. I think there was just a lot of, in the beginning, it looked like the markets wanted to run, and then all of a sudden everything just kind of petered out. So I think it was just kind of a big psych for everybody getting back in. So here's Apple, and as you can see, we had our doji and we popped up and put in another doji, a middleweight doji there, and we still got this overhead resistance of 248, and our moving averages are rolling over, so we may end up heading lower in Apple to retest this high of 237. So of course it's another waiting game. We'll wait and see what happens. We didn't have a whole lot of volume coming in at all today either. Considering what Apple usually does as far as volume. Next up is the Adidas, and Adidas got a little pop, opened up a little window here, and we have to see if it's going to continue going higher. Usually when you get these little gaps up, they want to go up a little bit higher, and then and sometimes they want to keep going higher. Sometimes they pop up and come back down and fill that gap and then go higher. So be careful with Adidas. It is Adidas, so and it's got this big window down here. So if it does go and retest this high, be careful for the pullback. All right, Amazon. And Amazon doesn't look too bad here. It's got a big gap between the 20 and the 150, which is kind of alarming. But it pushed up. It put in a sort of a fat doji too. It's got this overhead resistance at 231, so keep an eye on that. Trying to get to that area. its volume was about as high as Apple's was. Next up, Abercrombie and Fitch, and it had a nice green bar going up into the day. Then it put in this what's that thing there? Black cloud. So black cloud is this bar covered this bar. This red bar covered the whole half part of this green bar. So they call that a black cloud. And that's I believe a bearish sign. So it was green pushing up and then it just turned red towards the end of the day. So it opened up at 160, hit a high of 161, and then it went down to 153 and then closed at 156. So it definitely closed lower. So tomorrow if it opens up and it starts heading lower even more, we're in trouble. We need to jump out of there, abandon ship. Next up, Baba. It started out looking like it was going to sell off this morning, but it put in this fat doji here. So we have to see what happens with Baba. We don't need another day. I don't know, this week might be kind of funky. We'll have to see what happens. Play it. That's going to have to be nimble, I think. Bath and Body Works continues to sell off and puts a nice big sell bar here. So if you catch a sell bar going in tomorrow, look for some support around 34. If 34 doesn't hold, look for it to continue to sell off into 31 down here for some support. So yeah, Bath and Body Works looking like it's getting kind of weak, wanting to sell off. Next up, Costco. Costco, of course, found that support area, put in 2 green dojis, one medium size and one fat. So be careful with Costco. And then we have Deckers Outdoor, same thing. Alright. That's a big and tall fat doji. And maybe tomorrow it'll go up and retest this 214. If not, be wary of the open and that it might go lower. Okay. And right now it looks like it may want to go lower in the morning. Same thing with Dick's. Same type of doji. It was green for a minute there, like it wanted to continue going higher, and then, they pulled the rug out, and here we are. If we open up lower, going lower, then maybe retest this area for some support. If it doesn't hold, then look out for come back down into here at around 212. All right, Kohl's. Like started off like it was going to go higher, and then it sold off just like the rest of them. And look for some support around this 1379 area if it continues to try to go lower. If that doesn't hold, look out below. Lulu got a nice green bar going up, ran into that resistance area. So we have to see what happens tomorrow if it wants to open and continue higher, or if we're going to get a little bit of a pullback before trying to go higher. We'll see what happens with Lulu. It had about 7 to 5 calls to put, so it's got more. So we'll have to see if the volume continues to come in on Lulu. Macy's did the same thing as everybody else, only on a larger looking scale, which is not really. It's Macy's moves about 71 cents a day, so That's just about all you're looking at, even though it's a nice big size bar compared to, which I hate about that when I click on Lulu and it looks like this, and I click on Macy's and it looks like this, you know, so it's like, what the heck? But it's still the same thing, you know, small bar, big bar, whatever. It still took this bar, didn't take it all out of the way, so we go lower tomorrow, then I know, then you know that we're probably gonna need to get out of that one and wait for another setup. Because now we got our overhead resistance, we got our 8 and 9 SMAs coming over to cause more resistance, you know, all this stuff here. I don't really need this anymore because it's been too many days. Things have changed drastically. Alright, we know this is our start bar though, so as long as we don't come down and take that out, we should be okay. Somewhere in here we're going to find some support, maybe down in here or here somewhere, but right now Macy's is looking like a pause or run for the hills, or might want to shave some off if you want to stay in it, you know, depending on where you got in at. If you got in down here, you can probably hold on a little bit longer. Maybe probably should have took some off of here anyway, though. When you came back down here and took up here, you probably should have been, you know, taking quite a bit off with the trade. But once this bar got taken out, you know, that would have been my stop right there. I'm out, done, and waited for the next setup. Alright, but anyway, Macy's look like it wants to sell off some more, so next up, Nike. Nike, yep, continues to sell off. So tomorrow, if we open up lower, Nike's gonna keep going down, I think. Which I had a feeling Nike was gonna continue to sell off. You can find this support down in here maybe at 70.75. That doesn't hold. Look out below. On Nike, we'll probably head back down to this $59 area. Alright, next up is Onan. ONON. Oh, nice big red bar on them. Took out those two bars. This bar would have been your bar you got in on. Still in the trade, even though it came back here. It popped up, come back to here again. You may want to get some support in here, and then go back up and try it again. So that one you have to play by ear. But right now, it's starting to look like a sell. Next up, which looks kind of promising with this one, these two here going into the top of our moving averages, but then today's bar kind of says, we're going in the opposite direction. Starbucks, put in a happy bar but then pull back, nice tail on it. Moving averages at the 20-day. You got the 200 that caught it and said, alright, hold up buddy, you're trying to do too much. We're going to have to wait another day on this one to see what it wants to do. If it wants to continue lower or not. Alright. Skechers didn't do too bad today. I put in a fat doji. Didn't get a close above this area here, $69.80. So be careful in the morning. We open up lower. have to wait and see if it's going to continue lower or if it's going to um, put in a red bar and then continue higher. Or do like it did today where everything was like, oh, going green and then turn red. It might go red and then turn green tomorrow. So be careful with them. But right now Skechers is in an uptrend. Looking pretty good. 20 days underneath. We got to get this 8 and 9 up here. And 20 days to cross over and underneath to help. And we should run higher on Skechers, but it's going to take a day or two to be for sure. This week may not be the week I was hoping it would be. Alright, next up is Target. And nice green bar taking out the red. Target looks like it's still a winner. But tread lightly. Got overhead resistance coming. You got this overhead resistance at the 139.63 area. And of course, this kind of moving averages coming up underneath for some support. Let's continue higher to retest these moving averages here and see if it wants to continue higher. Next up, TJX, and continues to sell off. Even had a little gap down here back underneath our moving average. Put in a little doji here. So I suspect tomorrow is going to be another down day on TJX. So keep an eye on that one. There's no other windows open, but this was a window that was open at one time in this area here. So it may want to come back into this area. The vacuum of some sort. Then we got Tilly's, and Tilly's petered out. It's like it put in this nice little run. It ran into this resistance of the 150, and when it put in that little red doji there, and then today was another doji day for the markets. And so we'll see what happens tomorrow when we open up. If this 445 area accesses support, or if it sells off some more into here. But yeah, it had a nice little run from here to here. What is about $1, maybe? What was that? 325 to 445. So you know, can make some good bucks on that one. UA. It's Under Armour. Under Armour was looking good this morning, like it was ready to take off, and then it got beat down like the rest of them. So watch out in the morning. We'll see what happens with Under Armour. But right now it's a waiting game on that one. It's in the middle of our trade win, so it may continue to consolidate before trying to go higher or go lower. Next up, Ulta. And Ulta starting to look a little weak, but we'll see what happens. Maybe it's going to find some support at this 428 and then go back to retest this 464. We got the 20-day simple moving average acting as support, and we got the 200 moving exponential coming up, and we got the 150 rolling up, and we got the 200 SMA going down to get underneath them to help force them up. So our wins are starting to look favorable, but we're going to need a few more days to be for sure. Next up is VFC, and VFC put in a doji also, and if it opens up lower tomorrow, it's ready to come back down in here to $20 to test the support area. And then last but not least is Wally World, and Wally World, same thing as the other ones, couldn't get through these moving averages, and so it tried to push up through the 20-day, knocked it back down. And tomorrow, if it opens up lower, I'm expected to come back down into this 85.69 area. Alright. Sorry I couldn't give you guys a little bit more. It looked like yesterday when I was looking at the charts, they looked a lot better than they do today. Today looked like they're hard to read right now because, because of what happened with the market. And I don't know what kind of excuse they gave for it, for, behaving the way it behaved today, but it definitely threw me for a loop because I wasn't expecting I expected either we were going to go up or we were going to go down. I wasn't expecting us to go up and then back down the same day. That happens, right? It can't always be just green bars and can't always be just red bars. They got to start off as something, then they become whatever they're going to become by the end of the day. And that's what we saw today. So if you're today it was trading short, or not trading short, but if you were playing the trade, you probably were in and out real quick today and had to use a day trade because it looked like it was going to be going nice and green and then everything just turned red on us. So but right now it looks a little bit bearish. Even Bitcoin kind of in the after hours is looking kind of bearish. So I expect a little pullback on that. The Dow is looking really bearish. So, and I'm not sure what the Russell looks like because I didn't even look at the Russell. So the Russell may even be. Let's see what the Russell's doing. Root. So we were talking about that, retesting this area, and it went up, hit it, and couldn't close above it. 20-day came down, knocked it back down, and looks like we're probably going to open up lower in the morning, but we won't know for sure until the morning comes. And hopefully it doesn't take out this green bar here. If it does, then we're coming back down into here, and your inverse of that one would be RWM, and that would mean this bar is going to continue to be green, going up higher, back up into here. So, yeah, you could probably play the Russell to the upside on the short, if depending on how they're acting tomorrow. You're probably going to need to be nimble because this one is 33 cents on the short, and the Russell, the long on it, which is a $2,200 stock, so that one is $38. ATR, average true range. So there's a difference. This one, when it sells off, can move quite a bit. Alright, so yeah, this is the Russell. Ticker Russell 2000. Alright, and it's a RUT. Alright, and the inverse of that is this one here. Alright, that's the inverse of short. Okay, so that's it for tonight. Man, I wish I had better news for you guys, but I really don't. After this, after today's moves, and I didn't see a really tremendous amount of volume coming in. So I'm kind of like feeling like maybe this week might be a week where you kind of slow how you get into and what you get into, you know. Um, or you could put your risk on and just be ready to put your stop in, if it turns against you. But yeah, that's all I got. Sorry, I don't feel good about it, but hey, it's not my market. If it was, it would be going up all day long. Alright, so thanks for stopping by. I hope you did get a little bit out of whatever I put out for you tonight. I'll work on something better for you. Hopefully, at the end of this week, we'll have a better idea of where we're going to be going. Because right now, there's just a lot of indecision. They couldn't make up their mind whether they wanted to go high or go low. And even Bitcoin is showing some selling right now in the after hours. So we'll see what happens with that tomorrow. Okay, so like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell, and be careful out there. These markets are crazy. All right, y'all.